Great news! You're not getting stimulus checks next week from Mitch McConnell, but you are getting a lobster bill. Yeah, he apparently has your priorities in touch. Nancy Pelosi's really pissed. Mitch responded by saying, all you ever want to do is crab. And as to your pot bill, well, I don't think you have a real chance on that one either. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Lobster's pot. It's all Congress. They're coming back. I miss the days where it was just hairdresser jokes. This is afternoon's LALATE that starts every day at 3:30 with the check and lobster, and then goes to hazard pay this video, and then finally FPUC 30 minutes after this video. So tune in for that, and then rent. We're going old school OG as we approach 250,000 subscribers, and would appreciate you loving the old look. I'm bringing back the short sleeve shirt. I have the industrial strength bug protection on me. I've already gotten one bug bite. Fleas going hungry. So here we go. If there was a time to go to the front of this channel, hit the subscribe button, it would be today. We're trying to reach 250,000 subscribers. 250,000. No one has ever done it in the history of YouTube in 4 months. Absolutely insane. Let's get it done. And then go to the front of this channel, go to the below this video and hit the like button. You really did a great number on that this morning. Give Morning's LALATE about 15,000 likes, so thank you so much. Exciting news about hazard pay this afternoon, and I will be doing what I used to do back in the day, which is answer some of your 1,800 comments. I didn't get 1,800 comments back in the day, but now I do. Some of your 1,800 comments about hazard pay yesterday. So if you have questions to this video, drop them in the comments as well. Hazard pay still remains a focus, but not a focus in the same regard as it used to be. When we talk about hazard pay, there's all 3 types of hazard pay. There's federal hazard pay by congressional action. There's state hazard pay and local hazard pay. And then there's private hazard pay. And what I've been telling you to focus on in the last, I guess it would be last 4 days, is really focus on local private hazard pay. This is business to business hazard pay. When we're talking about hazard pay, we're talking about people who worked. This is not people who are sitting at home and writing up lobster bills. These are people who actually worked, frontline workers. You are watching this video because you are a frontline worker during the pandemic. You either drove, or you delivered, or you shipped, or you were doing something in a medical facility, or you were in a grocery store. You were doing things you clearly understand are essential worker duties because you've been watching the video. You also understand you're entitled to pay. And the concept of pay originated not on a federal level, but on a business level. The word hazard pay dates back to earlier in the 1900s, and it was to be provided to workers who worked in a job that was hazardous during a time of emergency, and to be given a bonus, an hourly rate bonus, on top of what they would normally get paid. That's what hazard pay has always been. It was not normal to say it's part of a federal law that's passed by a House and a Congress, and to get them together and to say $13 an hour on top of your normal hourly work rate back to January up to the present. $10,000, you made $100,000 or less per year, or if you made over $100,000, $5,000 or less per year. But that's what it became. It became the HEROES Act with exactly what I just described to you. The HEROES Act said that the employers may apply for you, not you, and it had some really bad provisions in it. And so yesterday I was detailing that's a real big movement once again to push something else when we're talking about federal. And that's the Romney plan. The Romney plan is incredible because, one, it's written by a Republican in a Senate that's dominated by Republicans. And most importantly, it requires employers to do this for you. It requires employers to get you hazard pay, whereas Pelosi's bill didn't even ask them to do it. It said, you want to go do it, you can do it. Smoke some pot. Don't get arrested because I'm going to make it pot illegal. Maybe have some Mitch's lobster. And, if you don't want to do hazard pay, it's okay. It's, just go watch, Black Swan. But, Who writes a bill like that? It's just, it's part of like what Harris, the VP nominee, says of the rent bill by Pelosi. You have these bills where people just sort of can do if they don't want to do something if they want to. If they don't want to, they don't have to. What type of bill is that? Then essentially no one does anything. And so when you talk about a hazard pay bill, then the issue is really, are you going to get the money? We just talking about something that you're never going to get the money. So there's a big movement for the Romney plan. You should be on social media. You should be tagging Mitt Romney, the Republican in the Senate, to say, hey, let's get the Patriot pay out. Let's get the hazard pay bill out. I love your provision, Senator. Let's get it done. Now, as we sit here, there's that. There's the Romney plan. But the most important thing that I've been telling you to focus on in the last few days, because this is where your hazard pay is going to come from, is your employer. Is your employer. Because if you weren't during the pandemic up to the present and have not gotten what's called hazard pay, more about that in a second, then you really will get it and should get it because of a movement underway. The movement underway I predicted before it even happened. I said that the unions across this country were not going to stand for having their unionized workers work in hazardous work environments during the pandemic and not get paid hazard pay. And they haven't. Since my reporting, protests have sprung up all across the country, and they continue to spring up. They've sprung up in 2 industries I've reported so far, and there certainly is probably more than I have not seen: grocery and health. The claims are about the same, that they worked during the pandemic, they got some bonuses initially, but have not gotten hazard pay for months. And why is this so important for you? Because if you're an essential worker, if you worked during the pandemic, if you risked your lives, then you're entitled to hazard pay. And if you've not received it, then you should be getting it from your employer. How does it work? Hazard pay is a additional hourly supplement on top of your hourly schedule. So in some cases, it could be $2 an hour additional, it could be $3 an hour, it could be $1.50, based upon the number of hours you worked when the pandemic started up to the present. Now, bosses and businesses like to do 2 things. One, they don't want to call it hazard pay. They don't like to call things hazardous. The lawyers told them not to say that. So what they do is they call it bonus pay. Bonus because you're so valuable and you're so wonderful and love your pink shirt and your hair is really nice, like your tan too. But they say, we value, it's not hazardous here. Don't call it hazardous. But here's a bonus. That's fine. I mean, so long as they pay you, we don't care what the hell it is. But here's the second problem to it. The second problem to it is that, and this is why there are protests across the country, is that they only want to pay when they're making a fortune of business. They wanted to pay hazard pay back in the spring because people were out the door with lines, 2 hours long, like they're going to a Star Trek opening or Star Wars opening. Now, when you go into the store, into the supermarket, and you see maybe, 45 people in the store, not 450 people in the store, then suddenly now they're saying, oh, it's back to normal. We're not making a lot of money. So now we don't need to give you bonuses as well because, we're not making a lot of money to, compensate you for the money. Well, A, they are making a lot of money. B, they're not making as much money as before. But C, hazard pay has never been tied to how many people are in the store. See, that's why I started with the history of hazard pay back to the 1900s. It had nothing to do with how many people were in the hazardous work environment. It was that you're in the hazardous work environment and that you're working. It doesn't matter how many customers you're servicing, whether you're servicing 2 customers or 200, you're entitled to hazard pay. And so the motivation and inspiration I'm giving you as you sit here today is that you're entitled to hazard pay. And that if an employer tells you, you know what, we're not giving you hazard pay because, I'm just not making a lot of money. But I love that lobster bill. You need to just say, hey, no, you need to be paying me. And as protests spring up across the country, the reactions are rolling in. And yesterday, you dropped some reactions to yesterday's video about hazard pay. Let me hear what your comments were. O.N. Rodriguez, essential workers risk their necks during the worst times, and now they're stuck in their jobs and expected to work to do it again this winter? The government needs to take care of these people. They are owed. Amen. Terry Rose, longtime viewer of this channel, a subscriber as well. Will the pot boil over? Does the speaker need some medicine? GS, it's real. It's not about a one-time $1,200 check anymore. I hope everyone is woke enough to realize it's going to be a while to bounce back from this 2020. And what's really scary is the fact that this virus is still strong and roams the world like a world eater. Good, God bless and stay safe. You too. Unfair Sanic. Focus on only four things: stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, essential work bonuses, and food stamps. Gary Polegano, this is totally crazy and only hope to even get a job after losing mine. My whole business, yet it was a small business and a new business, and of the last money I had, $90,000, which took my life savings due to this hate pandemic. Who would have ever thought this? Now, what about the bill helping the people that opened 6 months prior to this pandemic that made us close and receive nothing? My God, I can't even get PUA getting going again, which only kept me feeding my family. Disgraced, and we now have to go through this again at this point. September 12th, really? So, Gary, you need to get on the EIDL loan right away. If you had a business and you were making money and you put money into the business, and you need to get an EIDL loan right away. It'll help you and put money on your family's table. Go to sba.gov. Go to the private. The private's in the comments to this link below if you need assistance. And also watch my EIDL videos. They have EIDL in the title. At the end of the title, they're usually the last video of the day. Denise Moose, and also watch the PUA videos. Denise Moose, 2 cheers, Purple Power, thank you. Monica Hamarillo, yes, I'm an essential worker. I work for Amazon at Whole Foods Groceries. Oh, wow. So that's sort of a double one there. You know, Amazon had said they would give some money for bonuses in the fall. You know, it was a couple $100. But the focus of where protests have been in the grocery unions have been Kroger and Whole Foods. You know, the real focus has been those chains, and it is disconcerting that the parent of Whole Foods is, you know, they're not making less money come in the fall. They're still making a lot of money. And so why are they pushing back? You know, the common statement from the businesses when interviewed in these protest articles about protests, not protest articles, a little inverted there, is why weren't you paying hazard pay to these people? And the common quote, I'm not saying it's Amazon or Whole Foods, I'm just saying in general, the common quote is, well, we've made a safe work environment, we've invested in keeping it clean and keeping it safe and, you know, sanitized and things like that. Doesn't answer the question why you aren't paying bonuses. They seem to sort of ignore the question being asked. Brian Wisnant, there's no check, no matter if it's called a stimulus check or assistance check. They're all playing political games. They're all pathetic. Chad Smith, someone let Pelosi know the price of weed has gone up, and so has lobster. Everyone saw the lobster before I did. Yeah, I just, you know, introduced lobster today into my repertoire of deliciousness jokes. Cynthia Cave, I love your programs. I'm a 65-year-old grandmother. You are simply the best and the only one people should listen to. I agree too, but thank you. I love that. Hello, Cynthia Cave. CC is in the house. I love that. Congratulations for tuning in, and I love your comment. Stay tuned with me for more. Lisa McKenney, there's power in voting seriously. If you like it or not, being apathetic doesn't work in a democratic society. Go Purple Power. I love that. You know, I've seen a lot of comments from people say, what happens if I don't vote in the fall election? You know, why should I vote? You should vote because there's a lot of people up for re-election. There's your local people, your state people, your senators, your House representatives, and your president. And so, you know, if you're pissed off by one of those groups of people or all of them, you don't stay at home, because staying at home doesn't work. And if you're pissed off on how they have not done anything for you, then vote them all out. You know, you go to the ballot and it says incumbent. Oh, not you, the other one. Oh, okay, you're okay, I'm choosing you. So every time you see incumbent, just skip to the other side and hit the plunger. You know, in LA, at least you have a thing, you push the plug in to vote. If you're doing in-person voting, you just push it in. It's like, okay, now anything that's not an incumbent, I'm voting for. Danielle Davis, comments on a regular basis. If he waits until the election, I'm not voting for him. I've said that as well. But President Trump cannot wait to the election to send out stimulus checks. He has to do it, for his political purpose in the next few weeks, because they have to get to the American voters before they vote. Sending out stimulus checks after they voted doesn't really work. It's just, it's about as logical as a pot bill and a lobster bill on a week of stimulus. But, he has to send them out in advance. And I've also reported he has to send it in advance of people voting by mail, because voting by mail is even earlier than voting in person, obviously. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Mariah Lilliard. I'm so confused. 1 minute they're saying we're going to get in, the next minute they're not. And then there's this one here. Yes, that's the beauty of your elected officials. Larry Kudlow, Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, Pete Navarro, all these wonderful people say you can get a stimulus check, and then 10 seconds later there's no stimulus check. They say the bill's going to have a stimulus check in it. It doesn't have a stimulus check in there, and then they seem to just not remember what they said the day before. Of course, the president is guilty of this as well. Mary Elliott, wouldn't it be great if, since we had to wait so long, they decided to give us $2,000 instead? No, I think it would be great that we get $2,000 every month for 6 months. I've detailed this extensively, that when you're talking about stimulus, it has to stimulate the economy. Otherwise, you're just giving people money, which is fine. But $1,200 coming, months later is not stimulus. Americans were due a stimulus check for the month of May. Didn't get it. For the month of June, didn't get it. When the first CARES Act was written, there were multiple checks in that draft, a check for every month that we were on lockdown. Ultimately, Pelosi was among the people who said, no, we'll just take it out and just do one check, and we'll come back, and if you need additional checks, we'll do them later. They didn't do it later. They went on vacation. And so now, as we see in the fall, as Harris and Sanders want to have multiple checks, $2,000 every month for 6 months, Pelosi's back saying, I'll just give you one check, but I'll give Andrew Gavin grant money for 3 years. Boy, I mean, I just don't know how they say it with a straight face. I can't. I'm trying to make a joke of it, and it's horrible. Jennifer Virgin wants and does two different things. Come on now. She's referring to the president. Balua Carter, praying for all those who have been affected by the fires across the nation. Thank you for all our firefighters and first responders and volunteers. God bless all of us. Stay safe, and everyone. I love that. And Balua, if I pronounce that correctly, comments on a regular basis and is a subscriber. Recognize her name, and beautiful emojis. If a lot of my viewers are in the upper Northwest, so I hope you're safe. And for the nice comments that were sent to me, I'm doing well. The air quality has been really poor. Today, there's a little bit of blue in the sky. Just a little. It's very gray, but it has a little bit of blue. It's still dark, so that's why the coloring of these videos is a little bit off, because there's not much light. Althea Pogue. Anyone who lets these people end up homeless and hungry tells the American people that they're only concerned about themselves. I love that. Christine Steele, they need to stop hurting the American people with their games. Amen. I mean, these are games. $915 billion for state and local that don't need $915 billion is a game. Telling people don't come back to me unless you have exactly what I want for the negotiating table is a game. These are games. Shariba Karianjan. I heard all this before. The question is, when are we going to get the money? I'm nice today. Hello. I'm nice today as well. Gallup, for me, the Temple of Doom, surrounded by gloom, joins hands with Schumer. He's so much gloomer. Let them all die. She wailed with a scream. I'm okay. I got ice cream. Got my hair did. I'm looking good. Got my way. I knew I would. Wow, we have a poet. See, this is why I got steady to the end of the video. You never know what bombshell might come out. Yeah, I mean, this is all OG. Back in the day, that was before there was Purple Power. There was Bombshell. Before there was Javita Carranza, there was Bombshell. And boy, that was a bombshell right there. I love that from Gallup for me. Congratulations. Kevin Luncour. When would the checks be sent out if he does it? Great question. In the next few weeks, he has to get them out in the next few weeks. Otherwise, he's not going to send them out after the election results come in. That doesn't serve any purpose for him. He wants these to serve a purpose for himself, which I can understand. Any politician would. All the Republicans and Democrats are trying to do things for themselves. So he would make the announcement in the next few weeks. Other than that, it just looks precarious. Donna Tucker, I'm sorry for the language. I'm just really mad at our government right now. Don't be mad. The spirit of this channel is not to be angry. If you want a channel to go be angry at, go watch the some wrestling channel or something. No oil, please. Sharon Hollingsworth, we keep being told everyone in Washington wants to send stimulus checks, so get it done. Hope does not put food on the table or put a roof over our hand. Very well said. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to feature them. As we come up to 250,000 subscribers, we're about 1,500 away. Let's see if we can get there. Go to the front of the channel, hit the subscribe button, and hit the alert so you get an alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. It helps the algorithm so the video appears higher in the algorithm. Coming up next is FPUC, UI, and PUA. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.